think we can all accept that people have different tastes in comedy, but for me, it's kind of a bizarre stretch of the imagination to claim that somebody who was a colossal failure, who was basically laughed at because of her performance at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, actually deserves a better shake than one of the more accomplished and veteran comedians the world over. But that's what Kevin Fallon appears to think, the senior entertainment reporter for the Daily Beast. Now, if you go through his Twitter feed, which, Twitter isn't the best medium anymore. I don't really get any growth on there. But they basically, this guy's basically just a whore for television. Here, look, RuPaul's Drag Race acceptance speech honestly just made my heart roar. This is another one thing he said. He said we did it gays. It's just hour after hour. There's a TV critic just gushing at the Emmys, which probably him and his whole basket weaving clique watch. That's about the extent of their audience, because more and more people simply don't watch TV, or they'll just they'll pretty much watch stuff on demand when it comes out like later, so that kind of screws with the ratings, especially on broadcast TV. And he's well aware of that, but they still behave as if the world is as it was in 1998 in terms of the industry. That broadcast TV and cable are as important as it was back then. So let me see here. So deciding to make the entire opening and also every presenter's banter about race and diversity is looking more and more misguided with each category. So that might actually be an honest take, but who knows? In any case, this was the article that he wrote that caught my attention. He claimed that Norm MacDonald has a terrible show. Michelle Wolff had a great one. Why are we settling? And this is a guy that really, he doesn't understand how comedy works, okay? If you look at some of the best comedians that have ever risen to the top, yeah, especially Richard Pryor's story, basically, I remember he had a great bit about working at a mafia club in Youngstown back in the 70s. A lot of them came from very modest beginnings and had to work their way up through almost, almost a gauntlet of different, just seedy areas of performance. Seedy clubs, disgusting tours, and all sorts of backwater places. And what great comedy typically does not entail is getting a gig through your association with somebody who's far more successful, which is the case with Michelle Wolff. I believe she comes from Seth Meyers' orbit, if I'm not mistaken. And this person says the occasion for this ticker tape of stupid is the 58-year-old comedian's promotional tour for his new Netflix talk show, which is out today and called Norm MacDonald Has a Show. By the way, I watched the first episode and I'm part through the second episode. And it's kind of only for people who kind of are used to Norm MacDonald's type of humor. But yeah, it's kind of like he's basically playing a joke, not only on the people who are watching, but on the people that are actually there with him. It's almost as if it's him laughing at everybody else. And that's how you if it's not that difficult to understand. Okay, if you don't find it funny, you don't find it funny, but it's not that difficult to understand. The title is supposed to be meta and cute, perhaps referencing the bare bones conversational format of the series. But in the wake of these comments, and after screening a handful of the first batch of episodes, the title now reads as more of a taunt. Jesus Christ, Norm MacDonald Has a Show. No, he doesn't get it. If you watch Norm MacDonald's show, which I don't think I should put up because I'll probably get another copyright strike, but Norm MacDonald has always had, for a while, he's had this quote unquote show where they behave like they're on an actual set, but it's almost as if the cameras aren't rolling and he's just bullshitting with people like between takes. And you can actually see the soundstage and everything, and the fucking ladders in the way, and people like running around just doing shit. It looks like extremely unprofessional, and that's part of the entire joke. That it's as if the guy doesn't give a shit, and it's all about him just screwing around. That's the essence of. It's always been kind of the way that he's performed, and he's not really changed his. Of course, he had a couple sitcoms and a couple produced movies, which are a different issue, but Norm MacDonald's act in terms of that hasn't changed. He actually had virtually the same format for a while. I believe it was either on YouTube or Hulu or something. I don't quite remember. So this is nothing new, and it's simply either you do like it or you don't. The funniest episode I remember was when he had Larry King on, and they were. Well, every time he has Larry King on, it's hilarious. So this guy's saying, should I be surprised that Norm MacDonald is out there shilling a shitty show? Norm MacDonald kind of always has a shitty show. If it isn't Norm MacDonald, it's someone I probably confuse him for or is kind of like him. Someone like Norm MacDonald kind of always has a shitty show. We've resigned ourselves to the Hollywood truth. As Melanie McFarland wrote in an excellent Salon piece on this very topic, the world has always been ruled by some version of Norm MacDonald. That's why so many people love him. So they're basically trying to portray it as if Norm MacDonald has always had the wind at his back and he's never been challenged. Perhaps we even watch these shitty shows, maybe because we're fans or maybe because we think that's the thing we're supposed to do. But, what if we just didn't? Better yet, what if the proverbial... So he's basically criticizing everybody else for liking something that he doesn't get. And you see more crap here. This is all just stuff. This is the Daily Beast, which I rarely, if ever, click on. Usually their articles are kind of they're just not very interesting. The Daily Beast, I think, is really drifting towards failure at this point. Should that be and not because of me, obviously. I'm not attributing it, but the Daily Beast is kind of sunk very far in its prestige. I believe its heyday was back during the Bush administration when it was criticizing the war in Iraq. So then they say The Break. This guy says The Break, Wolff's short-lived Netflix show, was a sharply written, carefully planned, high-production gem, a valuable and critically valued descendant of The Daily Show with a necessary point of view. In parentheses, a woman's exclamation point. Well, I think that he forgot to mention that Samantha Bee already has a woman's version of The Daily Show, and that's on TBS. So you have to have so now that you've accomplished diversity, once you copy the same diversity category, it's no longer making it more diverse. It's that you're actually just adding more of the same crap. And by the way, I'll tell you one thing. I'm not a fan of Trevor Noah's show. Michelle Wolff's show was exponentially much worse than either The Daily Show or any other spin-off. I'd say of all of them, John Oliver's is the best made, and he has the best delivery, even though he's kind of gone off the rocker himself. But without question, the worst of them all was Michelle Wolff's, both because she has this awful timing on all of her lines, and because of her extremely irritating voice and personality. It was a series that found its sea legs with impressive speed, made news, provided lacerating insights, and had genuine potential. And Wolff herself has proven a strong, special personality in the world of entertainment, both shooting the stardom and weathering the ensuing media storm with a fearless, barbed, club-swinging White House Correspondents' Dinner set. What happened was her set was so bad at the White House Correspondents' Dinner that the organizer considered canceling the comic act altogether for the next year. And people will probably, and by the way, next year, it could be that you're not even going to have a correspondence dinner because there might not be any, like these people might not be in a celebratory mood. I kept thinking about all that has been canceled while watching the first few episodes of Norm MacDonald Has a Show. A haphazard, here's Norm talking to someone free for all, and got angry all over again. Because if you don't like the show, it's first of all, it's on Netflix. On Netflix, there are hundreds and hundreds of shows and movies, and you don't have to watch something that you don't like. That name became a taunt again. Norm MacDonald Has a Show. Here it is, LOL. David Spade literally recounts the plot of the Larry Sanders Show. By the way, David Spade had some hilarious experiences. His hunting story from the first episode is hilarious. It's the way that he describes it, the way that he describes growing up with a hunting family and everything with his stepdad. The guest appearance was great. David Spade getting annoyed at McDonald, like kind of pretending that they were on break, even though it's Netflix. Either you do appreciate the show or you don't. And I thought it was just great. Norm MacDonald interrupts with a joke about a hooker, and sidekick Adam Egget just giggles maniacally off frame. That's the show. Look, when you have chemistry between people, that's what really makes it. What he does not talk about in this entire article is the fact that, and then he goes into this whole crap with the Me Too and how, that complaining about his statements about Roseanne and Louis C.K. What you have to understand is if you juxtapose this and claim that this is an injustice that he has a show because Michelle Wolff doesn't. If you watch the episode that I watched of her show when Hannibal Buress appeared, there was literally no chemistry between them. It's as if people were convinced to go on to her show in order to prop it up. And that's just not the case with Norm MacDonald's program. I mean, I'm watching, I'm going to get back to it, but I'm going to be watching this episode with Drew Barrymore, who's not even a comedian. And it's just him shooting the shit with a bunch of people. So finally, there's this Forbes article. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but it asks how many viewers will endure the Emmys, and they make the point that in the modern era, when you have a 5-hour show, people are just not going to keep watching. And how many people? First of all, people only like a certain number of TV shows. They're not going to stick around to watch all of these categories that nobody cares about, that are just basically improvised out of nowhere. It just doesn't make any sense. It says, given the huge amounts of time they will need to fill, the Emmys and other award shows are chock full of comedy bits that often fall flat. Josh Groban's 2008 medley of TV themes during the Emmys gives me nightmares to this day. I was not around for that one. Don't get me started about Rob Lowe and Snow White and the disastrous pairing of James Franco and Anne Hathaway during the 2011 Oscars. Viewership for the Oscars sunk below 30 million in 2018 for the first time ever. Okay, that it sunk. So that they're getting record low numbers. The latest edition of the Grammys was seen by roughly 20 million people and attracted its smallest ever ratings in the key 18 to 49 demographic that advertisers covet. Golden Globes ratings and viewership have also declined. Maybe average Americans have better things to do than watch celebrities dressed in formal attire extol the virtues of their peers. So notice during this entire talk that I've been doing, I didn't mention one thing about the political issues that have been going on and barely into the Me Too thing. People just when they want to see entertainment, they just want to get what they're looking for and not have to be guilted into something else. That's all we're trying to say here. And this guy's trying to say that it's some sort of injustice that Norm MacDonald has a show and Michelle Wolff doesn't. Well, if you think it's such an injustice, then let's see how long it takes for her to get another show and how long that show will last. Because I doubt people are going to be willing to roll the dice on somebody who screwed up the White House Correspondents' Dinner to the extent that they were considering canceling it for 2019. And then she gets a show where they basically invest this huge amount of money into her, and barely anybody watched it, and nobody cared. So that's about it. Please let me know what you think. Did you like Norm MacDonald's new show? Did you like Michelle Wolff's old show? Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the new channel, Razor Ray Live Wounds. We just had a chat with Just My Stupid Opinion on there about the Me Too movement like an hour ago. Also, please share the video and comment when it uploads.